News Voice is the world's first mobile app that helps you track where your news is coming from. News Voice helps you track what corporate interests might be influencing the narratives in the news you read every day. Arm yourself against corporate media monopolies by downloading the News Voice app for free using the link right underneath this video. President Donald Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner, bragged in April as the country was reopening under Donald Trump's direction about how Donald Trump took control back from the doctors. Understand what this means. Here is Jared Kushner bragging to Bob Woodward, apparently having ill-advised conversations with Bob Woodward, runs in the Trump family. Here is Jared Kushner bragging about this.
The last thing was kind of doing the guidelines, which was interesting. And that, in my mind, was almost like, it was almost like Trump getting the country back from the doctors, right? In the sense that what he now did was, he's going to own the open up. There were three phases. There was the panic phase, the pain phase, and then the comeback phase. That doesn't mean there's not still a lot of pain, and there won't be pain for a while. But that basically was, we've now put out rules to get back to work. Trump's now back in charge. It's not the doctors. They've kind of, we have like a negotiated settlement.
Taking the country back from the doctors during a global pandemic. We need the doctors. Imagine saying, we've got to take the airplanes back from the pilots. All of these checklists and fuel calculations and talking about what do we do if we have to do an emergency. We got to take control back from these pilots. We'll cut down the turnaround time by 30 minutes each way, and we'll be able to fly an additional flight every single day. That's essentially what they're saying here. Let's take the clearing of toilet backups back from the plumbers, my friends. It's time to get these overconfident idiot plumbers out of here. That's a phrase Jared Kushner will use in this next clip. Remember when they said, what was it? We need a businessman running the country like a business. Well, he saw himself as negotiating with doctors to get more deaths in exchange for some businesses opening. Take a listen.
The most dangerous people around the president are overconfident idiots, right? Because that has a way sometimes of getting past his defense mechanism, because if you're overconfident, then sometimes, on a topic where he doesn't have other people around to kind of validate it, then he can sometimes say, okay, let's go with that. So that's kind of, I think if you look at the evolution over time, we've gotten rid of a lot of the overconfident idiots, and now we've got a lot more thoughtful people who kind of know their place and know what to do.
The most dangerous people around Trump are overconfident idiots, like Jared, not like the doctors. Instead, they want people who know their place. Like, for example, doctors who will let Trump do whatever he wants. People like Scott Atlas, who is actually the epitome of an overconfident idiot, a neuroradiologist who was brought in to deal with an infectious disease. But Scott Atlas knows his place. Very revealing comments from Jared Kushner. And then this next one is really just stunning. It's Kushner confirming exactly what I've been saying for years about both Donald Trump and his followers. It's not about issues. It's not about policy. It's about attitude. It's about pissing people off. And Kushner says it. Listen to this.
And so, you look at like the Republican Party platform, it's a document meant to like piss people off, basically, more, because it's done by activists.
Yeah.
So you have a disproportionality between what issues people are vocal on and what the people, the voters, really care about. And what Trump's been able to do is, I say he's basically did a full hostile takeover of the Republican Party. And I don't think it's even as much about the issues. I think it's about the attitude.
Just Jared Kushner completely laying bare every one of our worst suspicions about these people. And it's been obvious for a long time that this had happened. But to hear them say it so overtly is chilling. Trump claims to be a great businessman, Jared Kushner a great businessman, and yet they don't realize that the way to get the economy back is not to reopen prematurely. It was always to deal with the pandemic. That would naturally fix the economy. They've never understood it, and so it just goes on. And now Trump is endlessly repeating, oh, Biden wants to lock everything down. Fauci wants to lock everything down. Everyone but Trump wants to take away your freedoms. But the goal isn't to lock down and restrict freedoms. It's let's unite against a common enemy and deal with the pandemic to save both American lives and to save the economy in the long term. The economy would naturally recover with the pandemic under control. And instead, this administration has said, let's get the doctors out of here. Let's force openings, because the focus was, I guess, short-term gains, even though I believe it has completely backfired. Let's see if the election results bear that out. And, you know, at the tail end of this, if you open too early, you're almost guaranteeing another shutdown. And even if it's not an official shutdown, it's people who are going to stay home. Here in Massachusetts, as cases have gone from 150 a day to 300, 600, 1,200, and now even more, things are remaining open because it doesn't seem there's any political willingness to start shutting things down. But people are staying home more and more because they see the numbers. And that's the reality. You can't shortchange actually dealing with the problem and focusing only on haphazardly fixing the symptoms. But it just doesn't work, and it's not worked, and we're seeing it now. We'll continue discussing this on the show's Instagram at David Pakman Show. And if you're on Instagram, you might as well find me on Instagram at david.pakman.